Okay, so here's something you've got to get really good at if you want to be an exceptional actor, which is about taking risks. Now, here's the thing is that naturally, as human beings, we're not built to take risks, right? We don't tell our kids when they walk out the door, hey kids, go and take some risks today. We tend to tell them, look, be careful out there, right? Now, there's an obvious reason for that. We're trying to protect ourselves. We're trying to create a safe environment. However, that is so ingrained into the human psyche that when they try to do something where risk taking is required and wanted, that they tend to second guess themselves and they draw back from doing it. Now, this is a big problem in acting, because if you do that in acting when you're in a scene, for example, and you start to second guess yourself and you question it, and even if it's only for seconds that you do that, it creates a delay. And so there's an impulse delay, and there's potentially a whole delay in action because you can actually talk yourself out of an action. So you might think, well, if I take this action, how is it going to be perceived by my scene partner? How will it be perceived by the casting director if it's an audition? And all of this can actually get in the way. So here's the thing. You've got your technique, your way of approaching acting has to create a way of working that allows you to take calculated risk. In fact, it won't even feel like a risk. It will feel like the natural thing that has to happen right now. But if you're in your head and you're seeing it from your perspective as an actor, second guessing it, working it out, thinking about it, planning it, then that will never work. Because when you begin to plan, you're trying to remove the danger out of the situation, which is I'm going to be critiqued. Somebody's going to watch my work and they're going to come to a conclusion on it. And they might like it, but they might not like it. And that means that we want to create a safe environment, right? Now, it's also why stand-up comedians, for example, say that if they have a bad night on stage, that they died on stage. Now, they obviously didn't physically die, but their ego did. So there's a death of the ego that happens it makes us feel endangered, basically, as performers. And we have to overcome that threshold. That's really key, because unfortunately, unless you are willing to take risks, that your technique, your way of working actually supports that, then your work will just become a bit dull, a bit boring, basically, because it's very predictable and there's nothing alive or interesting about it. So there you go. This is what's got to be done. And of course, in method acting, the whole idea is that it's alive, it's spontaneous, and actually the actor is continually reinforced to take their impulses in the moment, which means that, initially that might feel like a risk, but then over time, it doesn't feel like a risk. It feels like that's just the natural way of doing things. And the time that I've been doing, I've been teaching actors for over 20 years, and let me tell you, nobody walks in the room willing to take impulsive risks, because it's just not bred into us when we're growing up. And so you need to be rewired, basically, in order to do that, and the technique allows you to do that. So there you go, something to think about today. Now, if you want to start learning this, then why don't you join me for Method Acting Immersion? It's my weekly online class. The details are in below. And come along, start to kind of learn how to do this, because it can really mean the difference between you being an exceptional actor or a mediocre actor. And we don't want that, do we? So, click on the details below and come and join us. Be part of the Method Acting Immersion. And I look forward to seeing you very soon, hopefully. Okay, cheers. Bye now.